Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. This is part 21 of the Lunak glider build. There's a picture of it, courtesy of Dom. See it swooping? Okay, so what we got? At the end of the last video, we put some filler on the fillets. And this morning, I'm going to start, having a go at sanding. I've had some brilliant ideas on part 20, from engineers, curves to silicone formers for getting nice round edges around when you apply silicone. I haven't got any of that stuff, but what I have got is what Ron Rose suggested, and that is a spoon. Different size spoons have different curves. So I'm going to give Ron's idea a go, but before I can do that, I'm going to sand what we did in part 20 and get it ready for filling. So let's give it a go. Bend you down. So the filler I've used is from Bucks Composites, and it's epoxy resin based with powder stirred in. They're lightweight filling powder. This was the first side I did. It's not brilliant, but it's not too bad actually. So I'm just going to give it a rough sand, and then I'm going to get a spoon. I'm going to mix up some more filler and try and get it in there, and see if I can try Ron's spoon idea, see if that works. If that doesn't work, I'm going to use possibly my thumb. Mike suggested my thumb, which and somebody else said don't muck around, try and do it in one swoop. The more you mess around, the more it goes pear-shaped. So that's probably true as well. I'll carry on with this, guys, and when I mix up some filler and got my chosen spoon out the drawer, don't tell Mrs. Harvey, we'll reconvene and see what happens. See you soon. Okay guys, ready to apply the filler. Now I've sanded this as much as I think I need to. Anything else now as little low spots here and there need to be repaired. I've got a selection of spoons. That one would work if I hold it up to the right angle, maybe. But I'm guiding it with my thumb, and if I've got filler on there, that's not going to work. But if I don't have that there, it's going to vary it a bit. So not the best spoon. Got another spoon there, which kind of like could work, maybe. But we've all seen these medicine spoons. It's got two ends. Small end, it's a bit too small, I think. But the big end, and they're disposable, of course. Look at that, it just fits in there beautifully. So I think the medicine spoon is the one I'm going to use. I'll try and swoop it around in one go, and I've got a couple of those. So I'm just going to mix up some resin. Right, a little bit of soapy water just in case. Right, we're getting everything together now. Working out, let's just go to 10 grams of resin. 8, 9. Always go over, don't you? 10.5. It's 2.5 to 1 by weight, so it's 4 grams of hardener, and I've got 10.4, so I want 14.4. Okay, 14.6. That's good enough. All these materials are from Bucks Composites, as I mentioned in the last video. Now, we don't need that scale, so we'll pop that one out of the way a minute. Stir this up. Okay, let's just spoon in some of this ultra super lightweight fairing compound. We've got about 50 minutes working time with this, so plenty of time, and then 24 hours to fully harden. Right, okay. That's nice. Look at that, it's beautiful, look at that. This bit here needs a little bit more work, I think. So the spoon, I'll go in dry for the minute because this is quite wet, so it might be okay. Here we go. Looking nice, looking nice, looking very nice. Keep it going, Cliff, round the front, keep it going. Oh, that's rather nice. That is nice. Okay, next time you, I don't know if you'll probably be able to buy these spoons. I was going to say, next time you're poorly, keep these spoons. I keep them anyway, I'm sure you will do. I've used them for air intakes in the past. That's not bad. I'm done. I'm happy. What have I learnt on this? Well, it's useful to keep your tools really clean. Have lots of tissues ready to wipe it between applications, otherwise you're just making a mess on your good work. And applies to all your tools. Don't go back to it. Try and do it in one swoop as advised. Get some of these little spoons, medicine spoons. The other thing is I wanted to put a complete layer over the top, even though I was happy with some of it, because this is a slightly different curve to what I'd already had. So it now brings it up to a nice uniform fillet, which in front of me now in real life, I'm really happy with. It looks very nice. So that will take minimum amount of finishing, and then I'll give it another coat of grey and give it a final rub down, and then we can start putting on the white primer prior to putting on the paint. So all of these supplies came from Bucks Composites. Check them out, really happy. So next job is to, I'll link to them below, start fiberglassing. There we go, here he is. Start fiberglassing the wings. What am I talking about? Rewind. Bzz, 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 bzz. Next job is to start covering the wings. So the ailerons are done. There's the wings ready to go. I'll just give them a final sanding over. When I'm happy, then I'll video a bit of it. Oh, and the other important thing is essential to make sure you've got a nice cup of tea in your favourite mug. Oh, sorry, second. It's not my favourite mug, it's one of my two favourite mugs. Dad's RC hanger. Cheers. Nice to have a bourbon to dunk as well, but I've restricted myself to just one biscuit, so I'm getting a bit portly. Right, I'm going to go and watch a little YouTube video while I drink this, and then I'll get on with the covering. I promise, honest, I will. Lovely, it's that Friday feeling, and it is Friday today, so I'm looking forward to Chris's Dad's RC hanger, that is, video this evening where he's building his Tony Nyhouse Harrier. Very nice. As you probably know, I've built Tony Nyhouse's Hawker Hunter. These are all sheet models. Actually, is Chris's all sheet? Yes, it is. Yeah. Just looking at my Hunter on the wall. Do you want to see it before I switch off? Let's just swizzle it around. Look at that. Where are you? There you are. What a beautiful machine. Right, see you soon. Okay, wing covering time. So I've just cut out a piece of film already. My iron's heating up. I've gone over the wing with a fine piece of sandpaper. I've cut the film ready, and that's how it's going to go. Just occurred to me that some of you less experienced builders, well, I'll just go on there, let the hatch, might find this whole process really daunting actually. The principle is exactly the same no matter what size of wing. One thing I have done is I've cleaned all the dust off of my wing with a damp cloth, and I've also cleaned all the dust. You can build on that if you want to. Also cleaned all the dust off of the work table with sticky tape, water sprayed, and then finally blowing it. So it's pretty clean. Okay, that's going to go like that. Cover the bottom first, then the joints are underneath. I'm going to put a peg on there just to hold it in that position. I'll come up that way a little bit. That will guarantee that things are in the right place. Will help anyway. Already I can see the structure through, which is what I really wanted to see. We begin like all these things, just fixing it each end. Oh, look at that. My lead long enough. Just give it a little pull, make sure it's right, and then just a little dab there. One halfway down, say there. There. You just laid it on flat, you see, so, and by doing little dabs, if you need to reposition it, it'll unstick quite easily on a small dab. And then you just go in between what you've already done. Increasing the area that you've stuck down. Like this. Now, because this has got like a fabric finish to it, it does grip the bottom of the iron really easily, so it doesn't go over the surface very easily. So what I'm going to do is get a piece of tissue handy, and that will allow it to glide beautifully like that. Going around the leading edge a little bit to give it a bit more of a surface. I just stay on that one surface. It's just going to put a tiny little, it's just going to stick it in a very tiny little place, isn't it? But the iron isn't flat, you can't see this, but it's up at the back there. The other advantage of using a tissue is it doesn't mark the surface finish, which is quite important on a film which is a high gloss finish, because you'll see little sort of scratches. Okay, so that's a good start. Let's sit down. Pretty flat, not too bad. When I have tightened it out, I'll then go over it and stick the film to the sheeted parts, including the cap strips. But before you do that, you want to shrink it all. That's a big yellow wing clip. The other thing I've got to do when the time comes is to cut out the slots where the servos are, as soon as I've got access to them. Alright, I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to start working up the edges. I also want to cut into here. Let's do that now. By pulling it like this, I'm making sure there's no wrinkles in the trailing edge. I was getting carried away, guys. I think I might have to glue this aileron in before I get too far ahead. I'll show you why. Because this piece of covering needs to stick onto the aileron and go down inside like that. That will go like that, and then when the aileron comes down, that goes into the crease, but when it goes up, it goes tight, but the edge is sealed. So before I continue with that, so I'll need to cut that edge really nice and straight back in place. So I'll break off a minute, guys, and glue the aileron in, because I need to do it now. Just before I do the aileron, I thought I'd just tidy up this part, the wingtip. I thought I'd better just film a bit of it, otherwise you're going to say the only bit I wanted to see you didn't film. So that's the wingtip, which can be tricky, but by pulling it and heating it and holding it for a second to stick, just working your way around, hold it. The trick is to apply heat and pressure. You'll notice I put a couple of weights on the wing. That will allow me to pull at it without the wing moving. You'll also notice I put tissue on there to stop the weights. I'm marking the wing. So I'm just working my way around this wingtip, and I want to get probably at least halfway up before I trim off. It doesn't matter how wrinkled the bit you're holding gets, because it's all going to be cut off. Oh yeah, I'm well round. That's nice. Okay, so let me glue the aileron in, guys, and that will be epoxy resin, and then I'll come back to you. I'll go and have a bite to eat. It's lunchtime, and then we'll come back and carry on a bit more. I've glued in the aileron. I've dipped the hinges in molten Vaseline. That's just the hinge part. So I've got enough movement. It said 7/8 up. I've got about an inch, which is 8/8. And so I'm happy with that. I could move it out further, but then it's going to stick out past the tip and trailing edge, so that's fine. So now I've just trimmed off the leading edge while that is drying, and I'm just going down, and obviously you can see I'm sticking it down. Now I want it to be tight when that aileron is up, and when it goes down, it goes back down into the gap, but the gap is airtight. I'll show you that little trick, which will be perfect for this job. And that is, I want to pull that tight, but there's not much to pull, so what I can do is to put a bit of tape on, and that will allow me to pull it tight. Don't need to stick it down, just pull it tight. So I'll put a little dob either side, like that. A bit up there. In fact, it might be an idea not to actually shrink this piece at all. Then I won't have any issues, will I? Now I'm going to stick it to the aileron. Now let's take a look. Now the object is that goes in there like that, so it can go down, but when it goes up there's no air gap. I think that's worked. Now I think there's such a small amount of actual wing showing, I could probably tighten this. So I'm going to stroke the iron down over it. We'll see what happens. I think the word I'm looking for begins with G. Guess what it is? I'll tell you. It's gorgeous. That's what the word is. Notice I'm stroking it away from the sheeted bit onto the open bit, because on the open bit it'll shrink more. Of the sheeted bit it might not shrink, and I end up with a horrible dart that I can't get rid of because it's unsheeted. Did I go down that edge? Let me just go down that edge again. Just to make sure, don't want to pulling away. Now this is all sheeted, so I can't chase any air bubbles away. You can always, as a backup, you can always use a pin to pop an air bubble. That's not bad. Let's just make sure it's stuck there. Now it's shrunk, I'm going to go over it and actually stick the film up this end to the solid sheet. And I know somebody's going to say, Cliff, you make that look so easy. And at the end of the day, it is kind of easy. I haven't done anything that you can't do. The thing that makes the difference is the experience, I suppose. But if you don't try it yourself, you won't get experienced. So just do it. Bear in mind that when it's sort of 50 foot in the air, it won't look any better or any worse than the other model that's up in the air. Look, there's a tissue there. Let's do that. So what I'm doing, I'm sticking it to the cap strips, sticking it to everything really. Oh, that is beautiful. I love the colour, love it. Now all of a sudden the fuselage is lagging behind again, but I can't even think about spraying at the moment. It's too cold. The next few days is going to be wet as well. Not that I'm at that stage yet, but I can work while the bits on the fuselage are drying, like the fillets that I've just done. I can progress the build. Go over it very gently, just hovering this above. Just hovering above the film. Right, so one of these sections has to be cut out, and it's this one here. So I've got to make sure that that film is stuck all around that hole. That is a hatch with screws in it. I put some film on the 3D printed hatch. It seems to be sticking. So that's one job less. I've left the white bit hanging down because it's only going to get scuffed off anyway, so that can stay down. So that can go in there. The hatch up here is the plywood one. Not even screwed down, look. So that'll just screw on there. That's just an access hatch to the servo mechanisms. And that completes the underneath of the wing, guys. So the next step is to do the top. And it's going to be exactly the same. This is like a hatch, so I'm going to... Actually, didn't I say I was going to paint inside there? I think I did. And have I? No, I haven't. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to get some yellow paint on there and paint it, I think. So we'll have to come back to that. So I'm going to do the top, cut out the hatch and carry on with the covering. So thanks for watching up to now. You're not going to gain much by watching me do the other side. And when it's finished, I guess we'll reconvene. I like saying that. And I'm just enjoying another cup of tea. Again, it's at... Oh no, no, it's not. It's not a Friday feeling cup. What's this rubbish? Life is a journey. Enjoy the ride. Well, that's a fair comment, isn't it? Enjoy. Nice, refreshing cup of tea. I thought I would bring you back. I've covered the top wing. I'm just going to tighten it all out. So that's the fun part, really, isn't it? I'll just turn this right up. It's on 120 at the moment to try and get the heat through the tissue. I thought I would start on the big end on this one because I don't want to run out of, you know, I can, because it's solid wood. If it was an open structure, you can sort of shrink things a little bit in the open structure, but when you're on solid wood, you want to sort of get it stuck down as quickly as possible. Taking my time, getting it nice. Still got to put on the top decorations, but that's the first wing done, so I'll go ahead and do the other wing, and I'll see you again probably in a minute when we start sanding that fuselage and getting that fillet a little bit better. Okay guys, I'm just about happy with the fillets, top and bottom. I'm just going to give the whole model another coat of grey primer now and give it another sanding. But they've come out very nice, very nicely. I think I might give them an initial coat and let it dry, and then I can give them a second coat. And the thicker I put it on, the more I can sand off. I've given the whole fuselage another coat of filler primer. That's how far I've got at the moment. All good stuff. I've made good progress. I've got both wings covered now. Here's the other one. And I'm just putting on the inspection plates for the flap servos, air brake servos. Not flaps at all. Now the wings are nearly done. Just got the aileron servos to connect up. It's funny building a big aeroplane like this. Eventually you run out of things to do and you call it done. Certainly been an interesting build. Right, okay, that's that cover on. Once the fuselage is painted, then I can cover the tail and connect up the rudder. Yeah, I've still got decals to make, numbers for the side, still got the sunburst to put on. So it's a nice bits really. Okay, see you later.